Today, on Independent Wrestling Profiles, we're talking to the real attraction, Isaiah Cross.
I like to start at the very beginning with everybody, and that's just kind of like when you first discovered wrestling. Maybe not even necessarily that it like gripped you, but just kind of when it entered your life.
It's always been in my life. If you were at PWO, then you probably walked into my dad. My dad's been watching wrestling like since he was 5 or 6. So it's been on forever. My grandma watched it. He watched it. It's just been instilled in me. I can't remember the first time I watched it. I just know it's always been on.
So it wasn't necessarily something that was like frowned upon because it was a familial thing and it was cool that you actually participated and watched it.
I mean, my mom wasn't very happy at first because I started training when I was 16. But, you know, like once she saw me like training and that I wasn't just falling over myself and I had some coordination to me, because as much as people would think, tall people have no coordination at all. So.
Well, I was actually going to touch on that because I think the topic of your height is kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
Hopefully not back when you first started watching wrestling, but like you said you started at 16. Did you ever find that it was maybe almost like deterred? Like people were like, hey, you shouldn't be wrestling. You're tall. You should be playing volleyball or you should be playing basketball. Like, did it present some additional hurdles for you?
Not hurdles in a way like completely stopping me, but definitely people just kind of going, hey, be on my basketball team. Hey, you want to do this? And like, I did it grade 8, grade 9. But like, apart from that, it just was like, well, that's not what I want to do. I want to wrestle. Right. So why would I potentially, go to a sport and risk getting injured because I'm already uncoordinated to begin with at that point, instead of, waiting till I can train to wrestle. And then if I get hurt wrestling, at least I'm doing what I enjoy.
So it sounds like you were pretty determined early on that you wanted to get into wrestling. Like how early, maybe you don't remember when you started watching it, but when was it that like it became a serious thought? Like this isn't just like a childhood dream. Like this is something that I'm gonna do. I don't care how it happens.
I think there was like 2 instances. One that got me really hooked before I was like, I'm going to do this was probably WrestleMania 30, that build up to Daniel Bryan winning. That was like, I didn't really like baby faces because like I was so just impressionable to what my dad liked and he loved heels. So I was always rooting for the heel. And then I was like, no, I'm behind this Daniel Bryan guy because he's like actually got organic like momentum. And then I'd say the moment where I was like, oh, I can be a wrestler. I don't know why, but when I watched All In, like the first one, I was like, okay, I'm like, these guys literally just sold out, what was it, Staples or something, like with nothing backing them. I'm like, if these guys can do it and they're like pushing so hard, why can't I at least go try and train?
I mean, that's definitely a very good reason to try it. It's just that there's no reason to, regret later. But what was it about wrestling that really appealed to you? Was it the character work? Was it the athleticism? Was it just like that larger than life feeling? What part of it specifically was just like, that would fit me?
Part that would fit me? I don't really look at it as a part that would fit me. It was just more like, I've always wanted to be in a spotlight. I've always wanted to be an attraction, right? Like, I don't know about, like if I'm watching it as a fan, I'm watching a story. Like, it doesn't matter if people think it's fake, because I've been hurt because of wrestling. It's definitely not fake what happens in the ring. Mm-hmm. You're watching a story. Like, even if you're watching other sports, I don't watch much of it, but like if you watch the Super Bowl, there's a story there. There's 2 teams going at each other and people are rooting for one or the other, right? It's the same with wrestling, and wrestling is more prominent because you got characters, you got larger than life, like you were just saying. I just think that it appealed to me because it wasn't a normal, boring job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely not normal or boring. You said that you weren't really a big fan of Daniel Bryan initially because you were more of a heel guy. Who were some of the ones that you were a fan of? Some of the guys that were the reason you tuned in every week and you were like, you know what? Those are the cool guys. Those are the ones that I want to root for.
I was really big into Miz when he like had A-Rye and like WrestleMania 27. That was a big, I don't know why, just resonated with him. I was like, I like how he presents himself. I'm like, I like being a ham, being in front of a camera and like having everyone's attention. I'm like, I understand this guy. CM Punk was a big one, but I think everyone loves CM Punk, even if he was heel or babyface. Like that summer of Punk, he was a heel. I don't care. Like what that whole storyline was for a heel, but people just started to love him.
I don't hear Miz and Alex Riley too much, but man, underrated theme songs. Both of them had just absolute bangers. Like it was, I don't know why more people didn't like them, but I mean, I guess it wasn't cool to like Miz. Did you ever come into that kind of situation where people were like trying to tell you like it's not cool to like wrestling? Like, what are you into this type? It is fake. It is this. It's not. Why are you doing this when you could be doing something? You know, I don't know. Making millions dunking a basketball. I don't know. But like, how do you respond to people that tell you and try to dissuade you that it's just not the place to be?
I mean, I just kind of got over it eventually. Like, surprisingly, I was bullied like a lot growing up. I'm very weird. Yeah. I'm never going to blame my parents or anything. My parents were like missionaries for Bible campus. And when we moved there, everyone was very redneck and like party it up. And when I found out Christian missionaries moved in, I got bullied relentlessly by all the kids there. And then on top of that, they find out this kid likes wrestling. Those two things don't really like help your case at all.
You said you started training at 16. Like,
yeah.
How does that happen? Because I know a lot of the times people start when they get to a point in life where they're adults, they have the time, they have the commitment, things like that. 16-year-old, that's a lot of coordination. School, family. It couldn't have been without assistance. Like, how do you actually make that transition and sign up for school and start the training? Like, talk to me about how that actually came to be.
So I think I lucked out, like especially the very beginning, because what was it, 6 years ago? It was 2020, so we were in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I started training August 3rd, 2020 with Tyson Dukes for like 3 months before the factory closed down for good.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was driving me 3 nights a week, and it was like an hour and a half drive, other end of London. So my dad drove me everywhere. He drove me to practice. He drove me to shows just for me to set up, like even years before I was greenlit and had my first match, just so I could go network. And also because he loves wrestling. So he'd just bring his buddies and they'd go watch wrestling every weekend, right? So I honestly think, like, I kind of feel bad sometimes for people when they're like, my parents wouldn't come out, my parents don't support this. Like, it sucks. It really does. And having someone that's almost bombarded into the fact of giving me ideas and stuff, sometimes I can get annoyed about that, but I'd rather that than my dad going, gonna go do that dumb stuff again, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
How did it feel going into training at 16? Like, I'm assuming you were probably already, a fairly large person, like you maybe already had some growth spurts, but from a mentality standpoint, like you're young, you're going into training. Was it a little intimidating? Was it a little bit tougher than maybe what you were expecting? Because that's a lot to take on at that age.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew I was nervous that first day. And to make it even worse, it was still when face masks were like enforced. So you had to do the whole practice with face masks on. It really showed if you wanted it. And like, I think by the third week, there was maybe like 10 of us left.
Oh, wow.
So like it was rough. It was really rough. But like, if you want to be a wrestler, I think it is important to find a school where someone is going to weed out the weak and like push you, because as much as it is entertainment, sport is also in the word, and you need discipline when you're doing a sport.
Oh, so. Okay. All right. Now, you said you did it for what, roughly 3 months before the school shut down?
Yeah, it's just 3 months at the wrestling factory. And then the next year, I think in April, Tyson got a school, like a building or whatever, with another guy called Hard Knocks Wrestling Academy. And there was 3 people that came out of there. First, it was Chili Brown, Bryce Hanson, and then the third person was me.
Okay.
So I think there was maybe like 5 or 6 of us that trained there, and it was twice a week. Upstairs was a wrestling ring and like the dojo, and downstairs was a bodybuilding gym.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, and that's the same gym that I'm pretty sure Bryce still trains at now. So it explains that guy was down time. I should have been too. And I mean, like, I was down there a lot, but that guy lived there. He worked there as well. So
Did that serve as maybe a bit of motivation to see like how hard people had to work in the industry to get where they wanted to go, and like you said, weed out the weak, like really kind of help refine the idea of just how hard this industry is and how hard in turn you will have to work to accomplish what you want?
I think so. I think definitely. And I mean, I think the hardest part is once you get through all the like training and like just, I guess what would you call it? Just paying your dues with training. And when you finally get to wrestle, a lot of people are like, I made it. I got it. No, that is just the beginning. And I would say I made the mistake. I very much was like, oh, I made it. You know, I finally got through the worst of it. I'm not saying it's the worst of it, but I'm saying that like there's a lot more hard work. I'm like, you know, you can tend to veer off. At least I did. Like, I'll just be honest. Like, I veered off a bit, stopped training for a while. I got sloppy, but like, yeah, you just really got to keep the discipline because it really made me feel like I needed to be weeded out again when I veered off.
Was that like a motivation thing? Was it just life got busy? Like any reason why you veered off, or it just kind of happened?
Life got busy, I'd say. Also, I think we were there for like 2 years, like at Hard Knocks, and I think it closed December 2022. So after December 2022, I like wasn't going to a ring every single week, and I was trying to figure out, whoa, where should I go? I took a little too long, but now I train with when I'm not hurt. I'm training with Rip Impact at Hamilton, like Pro Wrestling Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there once a week, just refining my skills. And that guy's a wizard.
Was there like a trigger event that kind of led you back into that? You said, you know, you kind of veered off, but did you just kind of get the itch? Did you hear, oh, hey, somebody's training here in Hamilton? Like, what kind of reignited that you realized, okay, I got to get back into gear?
I just I had more finances at my disposal. I'll just be yeah.
Okay. I mean, hey, that's fair.
Right? Like, I got greenlit when I was 18, married a year later, and like all that stuff. So I was very broke. So just trying to get my footing again was like a little hard. I had more finances at my disposal, so I could like actually, you know, commit to driving an hour and a half for practice. And I know some people go, well, you didn't want it. Sure, you can think that, but I'm putting in the work now. So,
Well, life situations are a real thing.
Yeah.
I think anybody who denies that is just not being honest with themselves, because we all hit that type of wall. You said you were greenlit when you were 18, so you started training when you were 16, and it took you 2 years to get greenlit. Like, how did it feel? Was it almost just like, oh man, when is this going to happen? Or was it even a situation where even at 18 you were like, oh, I still don't know if I'm ready?
I wouldn't say I was ready when I had my first match, but I think you can't be ready. Part of the training is having matches in front of crowds. You can train in front of like your peers in a ring for so long. It's not the same as getting a reaction from the crowd and like hearing it. It's a whole different thing. I don't even remember my first match, to be honest with you. Like, I remember it was a 365. I remember Tex Lexus looking at me going, "You ready, kid?" And I go, "Yep." And I go through the curtain. And I remember coming back, and I don't remember any of it. It just was so much adrenaline, blacked out.
Do you remember even, like, not necessarily the match, but, like, maybe some of the feedback you got from people backstage or family in the audience? Like, did you...
I can tell you a story about that day. So, not my wife, but I was seeing another girl at the time, and we had, like, kissed the week before. She never told me she was sick. I lost my voice and got super sick. And then by the time of my first match, I had no voice.
Okay.
Yes. And I was extremely ill, didn't want to admit it. And like, I had people just like ribbing me, like kept asking me, like, can you speak up? Can you tell me what you just said? And the whole time I'm like, I have no voice. And I'm trying to ask people like, how am I supposed to call stuff in the ring when I have no voice? And they're just like, we got you. But like, we'll go over it in the back. You won't have much. It's your first match. So, but it was horrendous. I was really sick. And then the next day, I did like Great Canadian Wrestling, and then I did like 3 matches in a row. So I did 4 matches in the span of 24 hours on my first weekend.
Well, that's a bit of a crash course. I mean, you want to talk about intimidation? I have to imagine that. Well, I mean, you don't remember the first match, but I have to imagine you remember some of the 3 matches the next day at least.
I do. I remember the first 2. They were terrible on my part. I remember the third one. So the first 2, I wrestled the cadet twice. Nothing against the cadet. I was just green, terrible, not very good. There was like 6 people in the crowd. My fault for not having more. I was new. And then the last match was me. What are they now? The Saved Brothers or the Lost Boys or whatever? Scumbag Yates and Bo.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then we wrestled Cadet, Steve Brown, and Holden.
Okay. All right. So there's some veterans there that could help you.
Yeah. It was a good one. It was better than probably the first 3 matches, but I mean, like you gotta be crappy to get good. So, right?
I mean, I'm sure you're probably your biggest critic, but was there a point or even like a match or moment where you kind of just felt like you were starting to get it or it was starting to click where, yes, there's more to learn, but you're just like, this is what I've been working for. I think I'm finally finding my footing.
Wrestling's very much just peaks and valleys where like I'll have a match where I'm like, yes, that was awesome, right? And then the next night, like, it wasn't terrible, like drizzling crap, but like it wasn't my best performance, in my head at least. And so like I'll have moments where I'm like, okay, I think it's clicking. And then like once I think it's clicking, I learn something else from falling down just a little, right? So I think wrestling with veterans has really helped. I had a match. Actually, my last match before I got hurt, I say was probably one of my better matches. It was me and Tyler Turba for the Hammerlock Championship. He's really good. There's a reason why like he gets booked and people say he's good because he is. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to bring a crowd in and control a crowd, and he's a really good guy to learn from. So, I mean, I said some pretty crappy stuff about him, and like I told him that he isn't the Saturday Night Delight. But, I got a little bit of respect for him after our match.
So you had kind of alluded to it. You are hurt right now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about how that feels in regards to just momentum? Like, you go from having matches, working on your craft to pretty much being on the shelf now. Like, how do you stay motivated? How you stay involved? Where's your mentality at right now with even just the recovery process?
I'm going to make myself sound accident prone. I got hurt like a couple years ago. Like I broke my wrist like in my first year or so. That time I was very miserable. This time I'm not. I think it's just because I've gone through it before. And I think also because it happened outside of wrestling. So like I'm a little more financially covered this time, which is nice. Motivation is day to day. Some days it sucks. Some days it doesn't. Having my wife around really helps. She's become a nurse. Like I'm able to do a little bit more now, but like that first week was a lot on her and on me. It's in pain like a lot of the time. It probably isn't now because I'm not thinking about it, but I think I'm motivated to get back, and I'm motivated to like take my time. I don't want to rush things because I don't want to hurt myself again or hurt others. Mm-hmm. So it's also given me some time to like really see some people in my life that I haven't seen in a while that I need to catch up with and just make sure they're good. So as much as it's a really crappy situation, I'm trying to make the best of it because you gotta get a win wherever it is, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If it's not in the ring, pummeling someone because they suck, it's got to be because I'm off and, I can sit there and play a video game with my wife, or I can go see a family friend that I haven't seen in a couple of years.
I mean, it does really help put things into perspective, absolutely. But I have to imagine that as time goes on and you get further and further away from your last match, probably the itch has got to start coming back like, oh man, I can't wait to get back in there and when I get back, I want to try this and I want to do this. Like, are you just kind of like working on even ideas, character work, things like that, just to stay kind of involved in that kind of mind space of wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, I have been. I wouldn't say working on a character because, I mean, you're talking to Isaiah Cross, so I am Isaiah Cross. And I don't know if you know this, but I was saying it everywhere. It'd be right before I left, but I'm the actual attraction of professional wrestling. So me getting hurt, I think actually gave everyone a chance to catch up to me.
No.
But I am very motivated. I'm motivated to get back to where I was going to be. You know, I have things to do in all the promotions I was at. I got to get back to Toronto Wrestling Club. I was like beating snot out people with Stratos. I got to get back to IPW. I got to get back to Hammerlock, Noble Championship Group. We got to get back to Chem Valley. We got to get back to all the places and places I haven't been. Okay. I have stuff that needs to be done, not just for my own selfish wants, but because these fans wouldn't know any better. All right. So we got to do what I actually feel like needs to be done for a good product. Okay.
Can we explore some of the goals moving forward, some of the things that need to be done, and maybe even some of the bucket list items that you want to accomplish in the wrestling industry moving forward?
I want to definitely have wrestled on both coasts, like within the next year or so. I was in talks with a promotion on one of the coasts, won't say, to go do some stuff, and it fell through because of this. I definitely want to try and get to the States. I just want to have really good matches. I want to have really good matches with good people, get better, make sure everyone else is getting better, and just like make sure this scene is thriving, because like that's definitely what we need right now. With all the bull crap that's going on in the world, you know, if we can have a good wrestling scene and make the fans that I might think they're dumb for liking other people, but if they can sit there and enjoy themselves because they paid money for a ticket, that's good in my mind.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you about some of the highlights, some of the best matches. Maybe not even best. They could be most just memorable, momentum, milestone matches. But if you're to think back on your career so far, what are some of the ones that come to mind the most that you kind of hold dear in your heart?
I had a match with Big Daddy D-Roy at Seaway Valley about like 2023. So 3 years, coming up on 3 years. That match was really good. He was another big guy, like wide, almost my height. And it was really good to like have a Haas fight. And like I had a couple before. That was definitely one that taught me some stuff. I'd say a big moment, as much as I really don't like the guy anymore, because, you know, he's screwed me over on tag titles many times. Stealing tag titles with Wade at a hockey game, that was awesome. It wasn't even a match. You got
to tell me more about this. Like, what? You're at a hockey match and you stole some titles. You got to tell me what happened here.
So when I was hurt the first time, Hammerlock had a show in Stratford. They're like big banquet hall, not the usual venue we run in. And it was a really bad winter storm. So the tag titles, because we were the uncrowned tag champions, they were supposed to arrive for that day, right? So Sean Bates goes down. He cuts a promo. He's talking about these titles. Me and Wade hear this wrong, so we go down to the ring. And the guy that helped sponsor, so he had like his business on the side plaques for the titles. He was out there too. And we come down there, and I grab the mic and I go, "That's really great, Sean. Now just hand us our titles. We've been the only tag team here." And he's like, "The titles aren't here. Did you not hear that? They're still in transit." He goes, "They're going to be at the hockey game that this guy owns, that hockey team that was in the ring. They'll be at his game next week." And I'm like, "All right, fine. Then we'll be there for you to, give us our titles." He's like, "You have to fight for them." So the next week, Wade and I show up and we go down to the ice and we steal these belts. And in the process, because the carpets, I don't know if you've ever walked on ice with carpets.
No.
But like you have to really be firm in your steps. Okay. And Wade was, but Wade's a big guy. And there was a small little lady that I know because I live in the Stratford area. I worked with her at one point. She's like 5'2", just a stick. And Wade stepped on the carpet that she was on, and she went flying.
Oh.
And I looked at him and I went, well, now we have heat. So that's good because we're the bad guys.
That's fantastic. Oh man, I'm assuming that like the audience in the hockey arena probably had very little idea of what was going on.
They had no idea, but it was great. Wade told me that the team that Stratford was facing was Dunville's team where he lives.
Yeah,
and all the hockey players knew him, and they were like, "Wade, what are you doing here?"
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know how you top that, but is there any others?
Another moment with Wade. We had a last man standing match last August at Hammerlock. It was very impromptu. I threw him in the back of a loading truck before the show. And then I came down to address the fans that, I had paid off scot-free to drive him around and just dump him off somewhere. And I'm not going to be wrestling him tonight. And then all of a sudden, he shows up in the truck and drives to the venue with the truck.
Oh, man.
And then comes out, and then we have just a slobber knocker around the whole entire arena. So
that's amazing. Yeah. That's like the kind of stuff we watched on TV growing up. Yeah. And you actually get to do it, which is just not to say that it's not awesome to go out and have matches, but like these large, memorable moments that the people in the audience are probably not going to forget anytime soon.
Yeah, it was a fun night. First time I went through a door, that sucked. It was definitely a night for the books. I've had a lot of other great moments, I'd say. I should give you one that's not Wade. Last September. Okay. This will be the last one. I got to the show I was at. It was Brawl at the Mall. And the booker comes up to me and he goes, hey, I know you're having this match with Great Tiger. And I went, yeah, this guy, he wears like all white. He wears a tiger mask. He goes, we're going to make it a triple threat. And I went, oh, okay. Who's going in there? And he goes, Soul Taker. And I went, what? Excuse me? So I had Great Tiger and Soul Taker in the ring. And that was quite the trip. That guy just has a presence to him that is like unmatched. I don't know how to describe it apart from basically the Undertaker.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's awesome. Like I saw both of them not too long ago, and they're both phenomenal. So like, yeah, being in the ring with them must be, I mean, a little surreal, but also like, yeah, like you belong, right? Like you've made it, you've found your spot. Now, I did talk about goals moving forward, but I wouldn't be doing like the cliche wrestling interview 101 thing if I didn't ask about dream opponents. Who are some of the people that you would absolutely love to square up with? Maybe on the local scene, but also give me like the dream opponent, just kind of forget reality and tell me if you could wrestle anybody in the world lacing up their boots, who it would be as well.
Robbie Hollywood, I have been on shows with him. I've known him for a while. I've known him before. He was like having matches. He has really come a long way, and I'd like to just beat the crap out of him. Kick the snot out of him,
Put him in his place a little bit.
I think it'd be nice, like just some nice bonding time for the two of us. That's someone definitely I'd like to get in the ring with. There's other names that I can't think of. Like you got the, not typicals, but like you got the guys that everyone in the scene wants to wrestle. You got Fuerza, you got Tarek, you got Del Bruno. All of them, of course, I'd like to wrestle them. But I just figured I'd shout out Robbie Hollywood because I think what he's doing right now is really good. Pipe Dream. I don't say Pipe Dream because I think one day maybe I might wrestle these people. Just my own selfish, volition. I would have loved to fight Punk, like, not this Punk, but like prime Punk. I feel like they make him look taller on TV. He really is like 5'11" or something. Like I think he's the same height as my dad. So I think that size comparison would be good because he doesn't do a lot of like David and Goliath stuff, and I think he could do a really good match with that.
That's awesome. And I mean, I'd say yes, prime Punk, but any version of Punk is still better than, like 80% of the people out there. So, hey, true. Nothing wrong with that. Let me ask you, like, if somebody was to be going to a show and they had never seen you compete before, what's kind of like the impression you would want to leave them with?
That I'm bigger than everyone else on the show, honestly. Like, think about it. Think about it right now. Who else is taller than me on the scene? You can't say Amon Singh, like the really tall guy. He's shorter than me. I've still beside him. He is shorter than me. Can't say Jesse V. He's shorter than me. Can't say Ali because I don't think he's having matches right now. And he's shorter than me. There is no one that is as tall as me. There is no one that is as big as me. Maybe wider, but not as tall and as big as me at this size. So definitely, I'd like to leave the impression that I am a giant and I am not to be taken lightly.
Well, I can attest to that personally because I saw you wrestle in a trios match at PWO, and you were in the ring with some larger people, and you did look bigger than them. But it is nothing like when I actually stood face to face with you and realized that I gotta look up at this guy. And like, I'm not short by any means. Like, I'm 6 feet, just shy of 6 feet myself, and you tower over me, and like, that stood out to me. There's no way that it doesn't stand out. Well, I guess that means that probably won't be seeing you doing too much luchador stuff, but hey, at least you know what you're doing. You're a big, intimidating force, you're a bruiser, and I mean, just gotta own it, right? That's absolutely fantastic.
Appreciate it.
One thing I like to ask everybody before we sign off is for a piece of advice. It doesn't necessarily have to be life-changing or anything like that, but if you could go back and talk to a version of yourself who is just starting out in training and just kind of give yourself a piece of advice to just make the journey a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, what would be the most important thing you would tell yourself?
Listen, and when you doubt yourself, talk to other people around you. Don't just keep it in. Talk to other people, and if you keep it in, you'll have a lot of internal problems and fights. But if you talk to people when you feel like, oh, this guy's getting ahead, that guy's getting ahead, what am I doing? Especially in training, talking about younger me, commit and just, don't doubt yourself and believe in what you're doing. Because like to anyone, if you want to go do anything, dumbest thing you can do is not do it unless it's a hard drug. Don't do a hard drug. Okay. But
well, thank you for that clarification. So before we sign out, can you just let people know once again who you are and maybe where they can follow you on social media for just kind of being up to date with when you get stuff rolling again?
My name is the real attraction of professional wrestling, Isaiah Cross. You can find me at Isaiah Cross Pro on X, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Yeah, X and Twitter, TikTok, Threads, and then YouTube and Facebook is just Isaiah Cross. And where you can find me, and no shows currently, but you will know, and he will know, when I am back. No doubt in my mind, I will be back this year. When exactly, not sure. But I will definitely be back, and I will be kicking some ass.
Well, I do wish you a speedy recovery, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Independent Wrestling Profiles. Please help out the show if you can with a like, subscription, or review. We'll see you next time.
This program is a proud part of the Swear to Pod Network.